Awesome. Well, welcome everybody. This class I have been waiting for as soon as this incredible artist said that he would come teach for us. I have been anticipating this day for a very long time. So I am so excited to introduce someone that I can not only, of course, proudly call a colleague and someone who I've loved working with, but also a friend, someone who I've considered a mentor. I am so honored to welcome Harrison White, everybody. A
Oh,
virtual round of applause.
hey,
Woo!
man, what a
Harrison,
great introduction. Thank you so much.
I love you so much. Harrison was in our production of Parade, the first time we did it, Ovation Award-winning production. He is a Southern California like treasure, as well as a Broadway, and I mean, he's been in like, by the way, I think every part except Rafiki, and even though you could have played Rafiki in The Lion King, he's played everything. But anyway, I'm going to let him, we have an incredible group of people working with him today that you're all are going to learn so much. So I'm going to let him introduce everybody, and I'll get out of the way. But I just want to say how much I love you, Harrison. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to all the artists who are donating their time today to participate in this. So love you all. Thank you for everything and have a great time.
Thank you. Hey, everybody. Can I just, right now we have such a few amount in. We got about 23 people. So can you all just turn on your camera so I can see your faces for a minute? Including the people who are who are working with me today. I just want to say thank you all for coming on and watching my class. I am ecstatic to be doing this thing and sharing what I know, what has worked for me in this business so far. I'm happy to be sharing that with you all today. So I'm going to break this down for you guys in 3 sections. The first section is me telling you about myself, because telling you about myself is going to explain to you my theory and why I've done what I've been able to do in this business and how I've been able to overcome, because those are the kinds of things that are going to be helpful to you in this industry as you pursue your career. Yeah. I came from the South Side of Chicago, the ghetto, from a very poor background. I went to college at NIU. I left college and I packed my bags with a one-way ticket and $80 in my pocket, and I moved to New York with a dream. I did that foolish thing, it's true, but I didn't know any other way. At that time, that's what I knew. I knew that I wanted to be on Broadway. I knew that I wanted to pursue my dreams. And I knew that if I stayed where I was, that it was not going to happen at all. So I packed my bags and I moved to New York. So let me tell you a few things about me, the real me, that I don't share with everybody. The real me is insecure, quirky, goofy, daring, and the real me is a fighter. But the quirky part is the part, and the goofy part is the part that deals with my self-esteem and the thing that has helped me back in a lot of ways and yet pushed me forward. And I'll explain that later. I moved to New York with that $80 and a dream to pursue my career. And for the first 4 years, it was probably the roughest time in my entire life. I tell you this part because that is an important part of it also, about being a fighter in the industry and about not giving in or giving up. I got my first Broadway show by being audacious. By that, I mean, I did something that most actors wouldn't do. I was in a situation where I was sitting at an equity office and I asked to go in. And in New York, you can't get through to the main office. If you're not in the union, you have to wait on the outside. I knew that they were casting a show that I wanted to be a part of inside, and I waited for the entire day. I waited like a 9-hour shift for this to get into this audition. Finally, what I did in the middle of that day was I wrote a letter. I wrote a letter to the casting director. Then, and I should also tell you, you know that I'm a Black man, but I should also tell you that I'm a gay man. That's important too, because that comes up in this industry as well. I know that things seem gay friendly right now, but that's not a real truth. So how you pursue your career within this new norm is a whole different thing too. We'll talk about that, but this is not about whether you're gay or straight. It's just about how you pursue your career. I went to the guy that was monitoring the door. He was gay, an older gay man. I'm young 20s, and I flirted. I flirted with that guy because most people wouldn't do that. Most people wouldn't think, well, how am I going to get this letter to the back? I did. I did that thing. I flirted with kindness and respect. I did it because I'm a good Christian boy, but with kindness and respect, I did that thing. And that man took my letter back to the casting director. That letter going back to the casting director made all the difference. Because even at the end of the day, when that casting director wouldn't bring me into the room, she came out to meet me. That meeting changed my life because 2 months later, she called me back in for the same show, and I booked my first Broadway show that way. It's about being audacious. It's about knowing who you are. It's about not being afraid of who you are in order to reach a goal for yourself. You understand what I'm saying? You can nod your heads, and then I'll know if you're listening. Oh, to all the people who have just joined to the class, can you please grab yourself, I'll give you a second, grab yourself a pad, a pen, something, so that you can write down, so that if you have questions for me later, you can write down those questions. If there's something that I skip by really fast that you want information on when we get to the question and answer section, then you can have those questions already ready at hand to let me know. And when we get to the question and answer session, type it into the chat. And Gigi will pull it out of the chat and let me know. Also type your name so I can speak directly to you. That's Gigi. Also type in your name so I can speak directly to you at the same time. For those other people, Brandy, Christian, Heather, JM, if you can I'd love to see your faces while I'm doing this whole talk so I can know who I'm talking to. So pull your faces up if you can, if you're not busy. So I got into that audition and I got my first Broadway show. That show would bring me out to LA eventually. I had come out to visit a couple of times before the show closed, and I was really feeling myself at that time because I was in my first Broadway show and life was good and I was making money and everything was really, really high energy and fabulous. And in fact, I met one of my brother, Teron Brooks, who's on here. I met him when I came out here with that said show. He has gone on to do some amazing things. Anyway, I came out here with that show, and at first everything was going great because I was working and I was in my power, and so I auditioned for 227, and it got down to me and Stoney Jackson. Stoney Jackson got it. I auditioned for City Slickers. It was down to me and the young man who got it. The young man got it, and I thought, yes, I'm moving to LA. I'm very close to booking. And then I got here, and it was crickets. For years, I did not work. I could not even get into a room. I could not even get an agent. I thought it was the industry. The truth was, it was me. The one thing that actors do when we go to college or if we decide to be actors is that we create characters. So we think that because we create characters, we can go into an audition and play any role. But that's not the truth. Eventually, what I ended up doing was becoming an aerobic instructor, and I taught aerobics for a good amount of years. But something wonderful happened in that aerobic class because most of the teachers were actors, aspiring actors trying to get into the business. And we had brought in an instructor, and he was from France, and I cannot remember his name. I wish I can remember this man's name. I've been trying to find his name for the last 2 weeks, and I can't find his name. But he taught me something that changed my life, and it made all the difference to me as an actor. He made us each stand in front of the class. And then he asked the class, with us just standing there with our mouths closed, to tell us exactly what they see and how they see us. that class was life-changing for me, because that moment was life-changing because people were able to tell me exactly what they saw about my life that was private, that I didn't think anybody could see. And I was just standing there. I thought I was camouflaging, and meanwhile, they saw me, the real me, and was able to tell me about it. That changed my career. And that is the key to what this class, the U in Audition, is about. The U in Auditions. If you don't have a group of friends that you trust, try to get some. In this industry, it's always great to have people that you believe in and that believe in you. And then by doing that, you then begin to build a network. A network is very important, because your network of friends who really are in the game with you and who really do believe in you can be helpful to you deciding, helping you to find out who you are. That exercise can be done with friends, standing in a room, trusting, and letting them tell you what they see. Because the industry we're in is not about the characters you think you can play, but about how you are as a person, how the world sees you. Now, you shouldn't limit yourself. I'm not saying to limit yourself, but I'm talking about knowing how to get in the door. And then once you're in the door, how to then explode once you're inside. Most people try to change the game before they get inside the door. You can't change a game before you get inside the door. You got to get inside the door as what they see, and then explode once you're inside. Do you understand what I'm saying? You can shake your head if you do, just let me know. Great. So that thing is the key to what happens inside of an audition room. That thing is the key to what happens when you are working towards your technical ability of being inside the room. Because it's not just all talent, it's also technique. Technique like knowing, per se, how to read everything that your agent sends. I used to not read everything, and then I get lost in the process of the audition. You have to read everything. When they send you an email, you'll get an email, and that email will have everything, including how to, including the information about the character that you're going in for. If your agent is sending you, if you got an agent who actually understands who you are, then that agent will send you to the right auditions. That audition, once you get that breakdown, then you have the golden nugget for where you're going to go with the said character when you enter the room. But the most important thing is knowing who you are in the pursuit of that journey. I have found that in my auditions, which sometimes I'm successful at and sometimes I'm not, my journey is always to be my best self. And when I'm not that, when I'm inside my head, when I'm not focused, when I don't understand the character 100% because I didn't do the work, then I get lost. I get lost on the journey towards where I'm going with that character. Now, I told you earlier that I'm quirky and insecure, and I need to tell you what I've done in the time that I've gotten to this place that I'm at now. I've had to build a diva. I have had to build my own diva. My own diva based on me, not on other people. My own diva based on what I've been able to accomplish, how hard I've worked, the years I've put in, the time I've done in order to get to this place. My own diva based on my self-belief. Now, let me explain diva. Diva to me is self-confidence, not conceit. This is very important. There's a lot of conceit. There's tons of that you can get your hands on. But self-confidence is a whole nother thing. Self-confidence is the rock on which I stand on. Self-confidence is, will take the nervousness out of an audition. I get very nervous. When I go to auditions, I'm a wreck. In fact, when I audition, I have to come home and take a nap afterwards. So imagine what the day is like when I got 3 and 4 auditions back to back. Woo, daddy needs a nap. But but my diva walks in before me. And when my diva is strong, I usually book. It never fails for me. It only fails for me when I am not being true to myself. When I'm not being true to myself, then nothing seems to work. And I can be in the room and think that I killed it, and it doesn't. But this all goes back to that class I took where I was standing in the room and people were telling me who I was by just looking at me. If that can happen in a room of people, then that happens in the room with a casting director who's looking directly at you, and it's a one-on-one. So they see all of you in that moment. In that moment changes everything. If your diva's not set, if your technique is not in place, if you're not ready to do that job in the moment that you're in the room, then you're done. Here's the thing. Most actors go into an audition trying to get a job. Everybody's trying to get that job and everybody wants to be a star. And that is the biggest mistake of most actors in this business. Most actors are trying to prove that they are enough. And the truth is you don't have to prove it because you already are. Most actors think because they don't get the job, it means that they weren't talented enough, and that is the biggest lie of all. You are talented enough. There's 1,000 jobs out here, and there's more than enough work to be had. But if you don't walk in with the self-confidence, with your diva in front of you, then you've already failed. Do you all understand that? That's the biggest one. The biggest one for me is the self-confidence and your diva. Because once you get a hold of that, you will walk into an audition knowing whether or not you got the job or not has nothing to do with how fabulous you are. And that gives you steam to keep going on to the next audition and the next audition and the next audition until you book. There's a booking waiting for you with your name on it. The only person that gets you out of having that job is you. You understand? You are the one who sabotages it. And it's not intentional. It's not intentional. You just are not your best self at that moment because you don't know who yourself is. So that's the you in auditions. For me, I've booked a job where I didn't even have to say anything. And let me tell you about going to that audition in particular. That was Bones. It was Bones. It was a cute little moment. They sent me sides, a beginning and an end, and I said nothing in between. To get to my audition, it was at, Fox Studios. And if anybody has ever had to audition at Fox, you have to walk a long way just to get to the audition door. So it's raining, it's hot. I'm walking this long way. I don't have an umbrella. I'm walking this long way. I get in, and then once you get in, you have to walk about a mile to get to the audition. I am drenched with sweat. I am like, how am I going to do this? I went in the bathroom. I said, I'm sorry, I'm going to be a little late. I need to just go and pull myself together because it's my audition. This is my diva talking now, right? It's my audition. I just need a few minutes. Is it okay? Can I go and just dry off and pull myself together? Oh, great. Go ahead. Great. So I go into the bathroom, I dry off, I meditate for 5 minutes because I got to pull myself back because it's my audition and it's my obligation to show up in that room. I pull myself together, I go back, I wait, I go into that room, and I use what has happened to me to get to the audition. I use that energy to propel myself into the audition. That thing made a difference because there was no lines. It was just a moment. It was about how to sell that moment. Now, my homework before going to the audition was breaking down that little section of me as a janitor, walking into the janitor room and finding the two main characters in there kissing. And what I thought, here's the technique and the work. The technique and the work was that for me, the guy has been working a 12-hour shift and his feet were hurting. For me, I don't like nobody messing around in my closet, and I hate these dance competitions that are going on right now in this building. For me, ooh, if I can get out of here in 10 minutes, I can get that burger and fries that I love before the snack shop closes. For me, my favorite color is red. For me, you see how I broke that down into components? It's hot in the building as well. So I took all of that energy, put it into that moment, so that when I walked into that scene, even though it was just a look, all of that stuff was on me. So that's what the casting director saw, the me in Audition. You understand? It's that process of taking that thing. I have, Julie, please forgive me. I'm gonna call you out for 1 minute. I just seen a friend of mine, Julie Carmen, come on. Hi, Julie. Julie Carmen said to me back in the day when I was teaching aerobics, and she was so helpful with me in my career in that loving way. She said to me, take all the work, do all the work, and then let it go. I remember that, Julie. It made a difference in my life. I wanted to just say that to you. Thank you so much, honey. Absolutely.
You made a difference in my life.
Thank you, honey. I appreciate that. So it's about taking those moments, y'all, and wrapping that thing in and then letting it go and trusting that you are enough. Most people don't feel that they are enough, and that thing changes everything when you go into a room. It's not about the casting directors. Let me tell you some truths about casting directors. They want you to come in and kill that thing so they don't have to look anymore. They have their favorites. They absolutely have their favorites, and they're calling them in too. You can be one of their favorites. I've gone into rooms where people would never have let me in before, that I fought to try to get in before, couldn't get in. And then once I got inside the room, they kept calling me back. You can become a favorite. I had a casting director hire me once and said, I am so sorry to be offering you this job. It's beneath you. But if you're willing to take it, I would love for you to take it. I would love for it to be you. It can be you. But I didn't do anything but show up and be myself in the audition. Speak my truth from my point of view. Do my homework. You get scripts now, and we got a lot of stuff going on. You got film, you got network, you got cable, right? You got Disney Channel. Those are all 4 different components. And when you're looking at a script, you need to know exactly what you're looking at. If you're looking at a Disney piece, then you're going to play that character a little brighter than you normally would play on a network show. A network show is all about the words. Oh, let me back up a little bit. This is very important. Do not change a word of a writer's when you're going into television auditions. Not one word. The writer is law. You change one word, that one word you change will keep you from getting a job. That one word. Sometimes it can be the simplest thing. Your hair could be off for them. You know, it can be the simplest thing that has nothing to do with you. That's why I said earlier that if you don't get a job, if you go into an audition, you don't get a job, has nothing to do with you as a talent. You know, it has to do with everybody else on the other side of the table. So all you can do is show up, be fierce, know that you're fierce, so that when you go home, you ain't thinking the whole day about that audition. That's not on your mind the whole time, you know? Like, oh my God, if I had just said this line right, no, you're enough. You are enough. That's the magic of it all. You are enough. So you don't have to try to fix it. If you stay true to yourself, if you go in and do that character as the character is described. You know, most of the time we spend time, when you get a script, your job is to figure out what the writer is trying to say. Once you figure out what the writer is trying to say, you apply that to you, yourself, the person who you are, that you've built. Now, if the character is in, let's say it's wintertime, see, these are the things you need to figure out before you hit that thing, before you get up in that room. It's wintertime, what time of year it is, what time of day it is, what has happened, what preceded you before you came into the scene, and what's going to happen afterwards. Because that thing is going to lead you into the scene and it's going to lead you out of the scene. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I've done an audition where I finish the scene and I just start ad-libbing and walk off camera, you know, and I book, because that's funny. You know, sometimes I've walked into an audition, and I did Space Jam 2, this last Space Jam 2 with the first director. They fired him and they recast. So that's a whole different story, but I did Space Jam 2, and I finished the audition, and the casting director said to me, "Thank you. Is there anything else?" I said, "Yeah, I'd like to do the scene again. Would you like to see the scene again? I got another take, being audacious. I got another take." She said, "Oh, great. Okay." So then I did the second take, but she said, "Oh, thank you for doing that." And then I got home and I got the job. So, you know, you have to be audacious. You have to be fearless. You can't get to being fearless if you're not working from the core of who you are, and understanding that in a way that it helps propel you forward. So, as I was saying, you got a Disney character, you got a Disney Nickelodeon shows. Those characters are pretty bright. They're almost stage acting, but just a hint back of it. Write that down, because you need to know that. It's just a hint back. It's bright, but it's almost stage acting, but just a hint behind it. So you're not so bright, because you got to remember, you're working with that camera. That camera is about what? That big. That camera is not that big. And so if you're huge, that thing explodes. You're working with a small area. So let me let this person. Okay, so so that's Nickelodeon and Disney. Network, for me, and what I found for network, and in some of the classes I've taken, I find that you rely on the words. Sometimes the words are not so good, so you got to be creative in that moment. You got to figure out how to make that word come alive, even though it doesn't make sense sometimes. You got to dig in your life and figure out where that thing makes sense to you. So when you speak it, you speak truth to it, you know? So network is about the words. And sometimes I find in my network auditions, I don't have to do much. You do too much, it reads huge. And when I get insecure, when my diva's not strong, that's the first place I go to, because I'm a stage baby. So my first thing is I go right back to that stage thing, and I'll blow a whole audition because my insecurity was up, and I missed my moment because I wasn't focused the way I should be focused, and I was off my game. So I'll blow a whole good audition on that. But when my focus is on point, you know, I can really hit that thing. And so that brought me, so the shows have been able to book, like How to Get Away with Murder, or This Is Us, you know, with these, especially when I book a lot of co-stars, and I book some good, I book a lot of co-stars, and I book a couple of good guest stars, but I've booked a lot of co-stars. I should tell you that up front too. But getting those co-stars is just as good. I literally have been living on being a television and stage actor for the past 10 years. I haven't had to do another kind of job. It's just been that. So it's possible. I'm not rich, I'm making it, but I'm doing it. I'm living the dream, the one that I set out for myself. I'm living it. Yeah, I wanted to be a star just like everybody else. But the reality is that doesn't happen for everybody else. And if that doesn't happen for you, then where do you go? There's space for you. There's work for all of us to be had. You just got to focus. You just got to know that you are enough. You just got to work from the core of yourself and not try to create some character and then walk into a room and expect them to understand who that character is. When the character is written on the page, all you have to do is be true to the words and go into the room. Network is about the words. Do not change a word of the writer's words. Every word is important to them. Then you got cable. Oh, and also on network, the pace. The pace moves. They don't want you to sit back, say the words, and keep moving. Now, if you are being true to yourself in that moment of saying the words and it connects with you, then you'll start doing things as an actor and as a person that becomes organic and amazing and smart, you know, and simple. They'll become smart and simple, and you won't even have to work hard for it because you're being true to the character. Cable is a whole nother thing, because in cable, it's almost like film for me. For me, I find that cable, you get a chance to kind of breathe a little and sit back just a little bit. You know, you can take your breath, and as an actor, you can actually think a little. And that gives you room to find some little quibs to help you push the character through. I hope that makes sense. And if it doesn't, write down the question and I'll answer it for you later. It gives you little nuggets of gold that you can put into the character that you wouldn't be able to normally do in a network audition because of how fast it's moving in the room. And then film. Film is the only place I find where you can actually change some of the writing, of the writer's writing, to bring the character alive. I did a movie back in and then did the sequel a couple of years ago. It was one of those ghetto movies. It was called I Got the Hookup, and just did I Got the Hookup 2. And they were looking for real drag queens to play the role of this prostitute that hangs out in the neighborhood. She wasn't a big written role, but I thought, well, you know, I've never done this before, but I think I'm gonna give this a try. So I got myself in the audition. I hustled and I got myself into the audition. I dressed up in drag. I got in my car and I drove to this audition. I do the audition and I'm getting on the plane to go to New York, and I say to the casting director, hey, I'm leaving to go to New York right now. I don't know how the audition went, but is there anything I should know right now? Is there anything I should be prepared for? She said, no. They said, thank you. Now, I should also tell you that while they were looking at me in this audition, when I did the scenes that were written, and I expounded on the scenes as well. And I brought some craziness to the scene. There was a line where she says, you know who they're looking for in this town. You know who they're looking for. They want some jailhouse pussy. It's the line, right? So for me, it's easy to be hard and harsh as a prostitute on the street. But for me, I thought, oh my God, how much fun is this? Oh, I got to start dancing. So I started dancing. So the thought of having all the men that I could possibly get is exciting to me. So I started dancing. I finished doing the scene, and the casting directors were like this. So when I asked that question, they didn't have an answer for me. So I got on a plane. I got on a plane and I went to New York. I landed in New York, and my buzzer goes off telling me that I have a call back the next day, but I'm in New York. So I called my agent. I asked him if he can call them and talk me back into the room. He couldn't talk me back into the room. I had a mentor at that time. I called my mentor. I said, look, here's the situation. This is what I did. This is how I got into the audition. This is what I did when I got into the audition. Can you call those people and can you talk me back into that room? And he did. And his question was, what did you think of him as an actor? They said, we thought he was great. And he said, well, then he was great. Wouldn't you want the great in the room? They said, okay. So they rescheduled me. I got on a plane. I got back to New York, back to LA, and I did the audition, and I got the work over the director's choice. I got the work over the director's choice because I was audacious, and the director wanted to hire this gorgeous drag queen who eventually worked and still works. She's amazing, Jasmine. He wanted this gorgeous drag queen, but my comedy was so on point that Master P wanted me. And then flip 22 years later, I get a personal call from Master P himself saying, hey, I'm getting ready to do the sequel. I want to write you a scene. Can I write you a scene when you come back and do the movie? Those things, when you are your diva, when you're sitting inside of yourself, those things end up happening. to you. When I did the movie Seven with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman, I was supposed to shoot for 3 days on Seven. I was scheduled for 3 days on Seven. I ended up shooting 7 days on Seven. When I got ready to leave the final day, the first AD said to me, "Thank you, man. Thank you so much for being here." I said, "I had the time of my life. Thank you so much." He goes, "You know, you were supposed to be gone for 4 days ago, but we loved having you around." Once you know who your diva is, people want you around because they don't feel any kind of energy that's going to throw them off for their journey. They need to know that they're comfortable with you. So you got to be comfortable in your own skin so that when you're on a set and crazy things happen, because crazy things happen on set all the time. When I was on This Is Us, it was myself and the woman who's playing my wife. She was an extra. So she wasn't a contract. She wasn't contracted the way I was contracted. I was contracted as a co-star. She was contracted as an extra. So she had no lines. One of the actors wanted to take some of my lines and give it to her, one of the principals. And I got what he was trying to do. He was trying to up her game for her, and he was trying to get her that next deal, and I support that. I didn't support him wanting to take my lines. I did support the idea that they should write some lines that included her into the scene, which would have been so much better for her and actually so much better for me. Because I know who I am, because my diva was rich that day, I didn't let it affect me at all. So what the director kept doing was including, there was 2 directors. So imagine that, 2 directors, including new stuff for me to do within the scene. Now, of course, they didn't use all of it, but they kept creating for me because I just stood in myself, you know? So my thing that I implore you to do as actors, and not just as actors, it will help you in your personal life too, is start exploring who you are in this industry. Meaning, if you're looking at a screen on television, who you really are. What do you represent? When people see me, they see, most of the time, I get mailman, I get next door neighbor, I get mostly blue collar janitor. I have, though, played lawyers. I have played drag queens. I have played other things outside of that because that's also a part of who I am as well. And I know how to reach those things when I get into that room. So it's about looking and finding out exactly how you're seen in the world. And the way you can do that is by having people who you trust look at you and tell you what they see when they see you. Once you get a hold of that, whether you like it or not, once you understand that, it is a key that will open 1,000 doors. We as actors, I find a lot of people are spending a lot of time trying to be someone else, trying to look like what said person looks like, opposed to just who you are in this moment, the real you. Me, I couldn't book a television show for years. My husband said to me, "You should stop dyeing your hair." I've been gray since I was 29. I started turning gray seriously at 29, and I started dyeing my hair, and I never stopped. It was a ritual. Every 2 weeks, the hair gets done. Every 2 weeks, never fail. And I spent years on that thing. My theater career thrived while this was happening. Television and film couldn't happen, right? So then, I go in, I audition for the first season of Modern Family. The audition's good. The audition takes note. The audition gets me put on hold and then dropped. Somebody else gets it. Then he calls me back in. I go in, I do a second audition for another character. That one I didn't do so well. My diva was sleeping that day. My self-confidence was in the floor. And let me tell you what he said to me at the end of my audition. He said, "All right, Harrison, get out, just go." That's how bad the audition was. It was bad. I got in my car, I called my support team, a friend of mine. I said, hey, TJ, dude, look what happened to my audition. He said, brother, don't worry. Casting directors know you have an off day. Watch, they'll call you back. 1 week later, called me back for another character. Couldn't do it because I was shooting a gig. And at that very same gig that I was shooting, they cut my hair. I had missed my 2-week hairdo. Underneath was all gray. And the people on this thing, I did a rock star game, something noir. It's one of those games for rock stars, something noir. And so they come, oh my God, it's great. This is great. This is gonna work great for the character. So then I had the gray hair. I finished that thing. Literally 2 days later, I still hadn't got my hair done because I was trying out this new look. Modern Family calls me back. I go in and I walk out with a job. The fear of the gray, the gray changed everything. I walked out with a job and I thought, oh, this is crazy. This is nuts. Okay, let me just keep the gray hair. Let me just go raw. Let me just be myself. Let me work at getting comfortable with that and see what happens. And I haven't stopped working. So that was my cover up. That was the thing that I was doing that was stopping me from being my authentic self in the room. For each of you, it's a different thing. You'll have to find that thing that's stopping you from being your authentic self when you go into the room. Because once you do that, everybody's comfortable. The casting director's comfortable. You're comfortable. You're not worried about whether or not you're going to get the job when you leave the room. I always say to somebody, they say, how did your audition go? I say, I peed on the floor and I left them to clean it up. And they can deal with it, because, whether they want me or not, I still know that I'm worthy. And the only times that I beat myself up as an artist is when I'm not doing the work. Okay, so here's what we're going to do in this next session, because it's already, and I can talk for days. I didn't realize I can talk so much. Okay, so I'm going to ask all of you now to turn your cameras off. And we're going to do some scene work. I got 6 participants to do the scene works with me. And I got my reader, Lisi. For a better view, oh gosh, what did I just do? Hold on, y'all. I just hit myself. For better view of this, if you go up to your top right-hand side and do, I think it's speaker view, so that one person at a time comes up, that'll be the best way to watch this next section of the class. So go up there to your right and tap that, and there should be one big picture, and then everything else is small on the top or the side or wherever you're parked, right? And we're gonna do the scene work. And I got some actors to come and do this with us so we can talk about the process. And we're gonna do this part, and then we'll go to some questions and answers after that. All right, so the first person up is Tawny Dolly.
Hello.
Hey, Tawny, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Great, great, great. Okay, so we're gonna shoot this scene. Let's hit it. Whenever you're ready, please.
Regina Becker?
Who is this?
Tom Ross with AMG Receivables. Did I catch you at a bad time?
It's 7:30 on a Saturday morning. Plus, I already disputed this debt with you, and I told you to stop calling. I know my rights.
Actually, you asked us to stop calling you at work. You never mentioned your cell phone.
I want you to stop calling me in general, all phones, okay?
Sure, okay. But I'm reviewing your credit report here. And I noticed you just applied for a refee on your first mortgage.
My application's still pending. Why?
Well, right now your credit score is about a 650. If you force me to report this debt to Experian, that will probably drop your score down to, I don't know, maybe a 520.
What? Wait a second.
Highly doubtful your lender will approve a refee with such a low credit score. In fact, that will most likely happen after your denial. You'll lose your house, then your visa interest rate will probably triple if they don't cancel your cards in their entirety. All because you were too stubborn to live up to a medical obligation.
Insurance was supposed to cover it.
Well, that's between you and Anthem Blue Cross, Miss Becker. But if you want to stay in your home for the foreseeable future, why don't you just give me a debit card number and we can make this all go away?
Great.
I think you're muted, Harrison.
I am muted. I muted myself because I was laughing and then I'm sorry. Tawny, unmute yourself because I want to see your face. Okay, so Tawny, I want you to do the scene again. And let me tell you what I'm missing. Okay, is that okay?
Yes.
Great. Okay, what I'm missing is the you in this moment. And what I mean by that is I don't see Tawny in this situation.
Okay.
You understand? So you can pull back. And I know, well, let me speak for myself. I know the feeling of getting those phone calls with those callers calling. And this is not the first time that they're calling you and you fed up. You know what I mean? So you can have all that snark you have, but you can also pull that back a little bit and ground it a little bit more.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Let's try it again, please.
Regina Becker?
Who is this?
Tom Ross with AMG Receivables. Did I catch you at a bad time?
It's 7:30 on a Saturday morning. Plus, I already disputed this debt with you, and I told you to stop calling me. I know my rights.
Actually, you asked us to stop calling you at work. You never mentioned your cell phone.
I want you to stop calling me in general, all phones, okay?
Sure.
Just
okay.
stop.
Okay, but you know I'm reviewing your credit report here, and I noticed you just applied for a refee on your first mortgage.
My application is still pending. Why?
Well, right now your credit score is about a 650. If you force me to report this debt to Experian, that will probably drop your score down to, I don't know, maybe a 520.
Wait a second.
Highly doubtful your lender will approve a refee with such a low credit score. In fact, what will most likely happen after your denial, you'll lose your house, then your visa interest will probably triple if they don't cancel your cards in their entirety, all because you were too stubborn to live up to a medical obligation.
Insurance was supposed to cover it.
Well, that's between you and Anthem Blue Cross, Mrs. Becker. But if you want to stay in your home for the foreseeable future, why don't you just give me a debit card number and we can make this all go away?
Thank you. We'll talk about it. Oh, Tawny, tell me, what's the weather like?
In New York?
No, in this moment, in this character's moment.
I feel like it's stormy.
Great. Okay, that's all I'm asking for now. I have some more else at the end. Huh?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, you can.
Especially because like in this Zoom process of auditioning, and I know you said earlier that we're supposed to like look at the camera.
Yeah, just for this experience, and you could play off, and for the other readers who are listening, if you feel like you need to look to the side or something to do something, all of that stuff is still valuable to you. I'm just saying if you were in the room and you were playing it to a reader, you would play to that reader, right? And all the stuff that you would do with that reader is the same thing here, except the camera is the reader, and then you'll do all the other stuff that you would normally do.
So my question is, because this is a phone conversation,
right?
Should I be talking to the reader or should I be on the phone? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do understand what you're saying, and I think you can do a little bit of both.
Okay.
Vacillate. Find out where it's important to look in that direction, but not specifically at the reader. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because if you're in the room and they're taping you, they need to see your face. And if your face is all lost in the phone conversation, they're not even interested in that phone. You know, for me, I'll take a piece of paper, the script, and I'll roll that script up or fold it so that when I get to that part, I'll just hold it here. And then if I need to look at my sides, I'll pull back and do that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm keeping forward and I'm playing that thing in the direction of the camera, but I'm still, you know, doing my moment. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They need to catch everything.
Yeah, that, and I think that was like my big question coming into the scene was like, am I supposed to be pretending like I'm on the phone, or?
You can have your sides and use that.
Okay.
Use your sides. You use what you have in hand in the moment. You know, don't pull out a real phone. They don't like it. You know, use the sides, because that sides, they need to know that you're still holding the sides. You know what I mean?
Okay.
They need to believe that you're still reading from it, even if you know it by heart. Me, when I go into an audition, I know my stuff by heart. I'm dyslexic. I need to know that thing by heart. I don't like to try to figure it out. I need to have that character base. And then I have my little notes on the script if I need to have notes. Sometimes I'm just organic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Great. Yeah.
All
Thank
right,
you.
let's move on. Thank you. Laura Kelly.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how are you doing?
Pretty good.
Great, let's do this thing.
Okay, so we should start on the bags. You want to put on some gloves?
Whoever got my friend, I mean, he wasn't a bag. Jenny didn't have gloves. I want to learn real moves, hand to hand.
I don't know. We should start with fundamentals.
Huck, I don't have time for fundamentals. Someone could come after me tomorrow or tonight even. I need to learn now. Come on, come at me. Hit me, show me what it's like.
You need the right stance to block it properly. Put your right leg back.
Like this?
Well, not so much to the side.
Well, show me.
Square your hips. Good. Now keep your arms level with your shoulders and move your palm into the punch to block it. I'm going to throw a hit now.
Well, don't tell me, just do it.
Good.
Do it for real this time? No going easy on me.
Okay, but if you're going to protect yourself, you've got to get out of defense. Block and then bounce back into a punch.
Ha! Oh, no. So sorry, Huck.
Oh, that was amazing. Let's go again.
I want to do it again, but just because I want to see it again, Laura, I'm only going to ask one thing of you, because that was wonderful. I'm only going to ask one thing of you. Did you ever watch Scandal?
Yes.
There was a thing called Scandal Pace. Yeah? So
Yeah.
in the homework, the reason I gave you the scene was for you to go to do the homework to find out about the pacing.
It's
So
very fast.
That's right. And that's what I'm going to ask for you right now. You got that, Lisi? It moves. Okay? Even though it's happening, it still moves. So take some moments to breathe, but still move. Yeah? But the scene work, you win in my book, boo. Let's do it again.
Okay, so we should start on the bags. Do you want to put on some gloves?
Let's do it again. That's all right. It's okay. Let's do it again. That's right. That happens too. And in those moments is where you collect yourself. You say, don't apologize. Do not apologize, folks. Do not apologize. Go, oops, let me do that again. Do not apologize. Apologies is somehow a weakness in the casting director's room. Do not apologize. Just go up. Let me do that again. And then kill it. Yeah? Catch your breath when you're ready. And if you want us to wait for when you're ready, just let me know when you're ready to go, and then she'll start the sides. Yeah?
Great. Yeah.
Great.
Right?
Yeah, good go.
Okay, so we should start on the bags. You want to put on some gloves?
Whoever got my friend, he wasn't a bag. Jenny didn't have gloves. I want to learn real moves, hand to hand.
I don't know. We should start with fundamentals first.
I don't have time for fundamentals. Someone could come after me tomorrow, tonight even. I need to learn now. Come on, Hit me. Show me how it is.
You need the right stance to block it properly. Put your right leg back.
Like this?
Not so much to the side.
Well, show me.
Square your hips. Good. Now, keep your arms level with your shoulders and move your palm into the punch to block it. I'm going to throw a hit now.
Well, don't tell me, just do it.
Good.
Don't go easy on me.
Okay, but if you're going to protect yourself, you've got to get out of defense. Block and then bounce back into a punch.
Oh, no. Huck, I'm sorry.
That was amazing. Let's go again.
So Laura, I don't even know you, and I feel like I know you. Really cool. Good work. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Brittany.
Hello.
Hey.
All right.
I'm looking for you. I don't see your facey.
Oh, can you not see me?
There you are. Now I got you.
Oh, okay, good. I
Yeah.
was having trouble with my internet, so hopefully it does not.
That's all right. We're ready to go. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. You let us know when you're ready.
Okay. Excuse me. We've had multiple complaints that you're ruining the game and creating a hostile environment.
War is a hostile environment. Check the scoreboard. We're number one. Number one.
Well, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
And why is that?
Because he used a little girl as a human shield.
She was already out.
Listen, dog barf.
That is Mrs. Dog Barf to you.
Security?
Great. Let's do it again, because I know you went up a little bit. Catch your breath. Let us know when you're ready.
Excuse me. We've had multiple complaints that you're ruining the game and creating a hostile environment.
War is a hostile environment. Check the scoreboard. We're number one. Number one.
Well, I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
And why is that?
Because he used a little girl as the human shield.
She was already out.
Listen, dog barf.
That's Mrs. Dog Barf to you.
Security?
Sweet. Thank you. And you listened to everything I said in that email I sent you too. I'm really impressed with that. Folks, let me tell you this. This is important to know. If you are sitting in a casting office and there are a lot of actors around, sometimes it can knock you off your game, right? And you get inside the room and they say go, but you're not ready. Don't be afraid to ask for a second before you go. Don't be afraid. It's your time. You know, whether they hire you or not doesn't make a difference. What makes a difference to you is how you feel about what you did in that room. And if you're off your game when you get inside the room because you weren't focused, because you let the outside room throw you off your game, then it's done. Quick story. I made history being the first African-American Santa Claus on a show called Bumped. When I went to the audition, it was me. When I got inside the audition, I heard they only saw 3 African-Americans. I think they saw about 3 Latinos, and everybody else was white. And I got confronted by a couple of white brothers who made jokes about the fact that they were seeing a Black Santa Claus and how contemporary Disney must be to be doing something like that. And I had to catch my breath and walk outside of the room and focus, because I couldn't let, I thought of something positive to say in the room. I said, well, I guess they are. Thank God for them. And then I walked out of the room because my real thought was, who the f are you to say something like that to me? What a horrible thing to say to somebody if they're getting ready to go into an audition. But that guy was trying to break my confidence. I went outside of the building. I caught my breath. I walked back into that room. And when I went into that audition room, it was no longer about them. It was about me. So when I hit that scene, I killed that thing. I killed it. They were seeing people in the room for 10, 15, 20 minutes. People were in that room. I was in that room for less than 5 minutes, and I walked away with that job. So you got to make sure that before you open your mouth in the room, you are in control. That was a really nice job. That was completely Disney Nickelodeon performing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're moving on to the men's section. James Singleton.
Hello.
Hey, you let us know when you're ready.
I'm gonna pin Lacey.
So, how was the night with Greg? I hope it was worth it.
It actually wasn't, because you were right. Greg was just using me. He asked me to write Weasel's college essay for him.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, looks like I'm just a gullible idiot, thinking somebody like him would want to hang around me.
Hey, CB, you're better than Greg. It's his loss that he doesn't get to hang out with you.
Then how come he was partying last night with David Copperfield and Claudia Schiffer while I went home and watched a Boy Meets World marathon on cable?
Because he's a user and a D-bag and you're a sweet, trusting guy who always sees the best in people. Honestly, it's like my favorite thing about you.
Thank you. I can't believe I let Weasel down just so I could hang out with some guy I thought was cool at a cool event.
Okay, first, not that cool of an event at all.
I heard he made the crack in the Liberty Bell disappear.
Yeah, when it's under the blanket, he just spins it around to the other side.
No. Oh. Yes. But still, showmanship.
And second, there's still plenty of time to make things right with Weasel.
Thanks, Lane.
Now go work your magic.
I love the secret joke. You did a thing I call the secret joke. I love the secret joke. You know what I'm talking about, James?
The secret joke
Yes.
that we have between each other?
The lean in. You did a lean in.
Oh, yes.
I love those things. I love the secret joke. Those things are really funny to me. I want you to do this thing again, James, and I'm going to shock you with what I'm going to say to you. I want you to simplify it.
Okay.
Keep the secret joke.
Okay.
Don't get rid of that. What I'm missing is a hint of honesty.
Okay.
Can you tell me what's on your mind?
Yeah. I'm bummed and I feel used again. And I feel like I'm probably going to be alone.
Then let me see that, please. Because the funny is in the honesty. What you're doing is a single camera comedy. What Brittany did is a multi-camera comedy.
Right.
Single cam is one camera. It's
Right.
very simplified. It's more based on the simplicity of it. The less you do, the better it is. But the secret joke, don't get rid of the secret joke. It's fantastic.
Okay.
But simplify and keep it honest and let me feel what you're feeling, because the funny is in the feeling.
Okay.
Let us know when you're ready. Take a minute, because I know that adjustment takes a minute. Take a minute.
You ready?
Yes, you ready?
So how was the night with Greg? Hope it was worth it.
It actually was, because you were right. Greg was just using. He asked me to write a college essay for Weasel.
I'm sorry.
Let's go back. Sorry.
Hold on.
Oh, God.
My dog.
Is that Captain?
Captain.
It's Captain. Sorry, y'all. Sorry, James.
Okay, sorry about that.
Okay.
One more time. How was the night with Greg? I hope it was worth it.
It actually wasn't, because you were right. Greg was just using me. He asked me to write Weasel's college essay for him.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I guess I'm just a gullible idiot thinking a guy like that would want to hang around me.
Hey, CB, you're better than Greg. It's his loss that he doesn't get to hang out with you.
Then how come he partied with David Copperfield and Claudia Schiffer last night while I went home and watched the Boy Meets World marathon on cable?
Because he's a user and a D-bag and you're a sweet, trusting guy who always sees the good in people. Honestly, it's like my favorite thing about you.
Thank you. Man, I can't believe I let Weasel down just so I could hang out with a guy I thought was cool at a cool event.
Okay, first, not that cool of an event at all.
I heard he made the crack in the Liberty Bell disappear?
Yeah, when it's under the blanket, he just spins it around to the other side.
No. Oh. Yes. Still, showmanship.
And second, there's still plenty of time to make things right with Weasel.
Thanks, Lane.
Go work your magic.
You went up and that still was magical. Did you feel the difference?
Yes, I felt more grounded that time.
Yeah, and it changes everything. It made you so charming and adorable, and you did things facially that was so interesting to look at that you didn't have the first time because it was too bright. You understand?
Yes.
Finding the you in that moment and taking it from the person of you so that it's not outside of yourself. It's not big. It's just honest. Single camera comedy is really about that, and finding little cute little tricks like that secret thing you did that makes it bright, but it's still from the core of who you are. When you push too much, if it's any brighter, it's the job. That's the job. Otherwise, if you tell it from the truth, if you speak from that real place, it changes everything of how that comedy lays, and you get to find interesting things to do in that moment. That was really nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Let's move on. Tony.
Hi.
Hi. So now these next two scenes that you all are going to see are things I either was up for or that I booked. I won't say which is which. All right. But if you know me, you already know what that is. So, okay. Tony, you let us know when you're ready.
Okay. Ready. Ruby, I do not. I'm gonna take that back. Ruby, I don't water down my drinks.
Okay, and you don't color your hair either. Good one, girl.
And how would you know what's good, second-rate idiot?
Oh no, you leave Pork Chop out of this. You're always coming for Miss Pork Chop. You want to come for me? Come for me.
No, now you're the one who's out there coming for me and my club after I gave you your start.
Well, unless you're my Aunt Charmaine who let me parade around in her house coats my mama was working, you did not give me my start.
What? Oh, so you think just because you saved up your own coin for your own place, you can just trash my club?
Oh, I don't have to trash your club, Tony. Look around. Your club is doing a good job of being trash all on its own. Busting my ass, driving all over this country in a rundown 1992 Ford Econoline, paying every low rent, old takeout food smelling, no hot water having drag clubs just like yours.
Oh no, I got hot water.
And a pot belly.
That unmuting thing, it gets me every time. Okay, I want to take it again.
Okay.
I didn't think I was going to take every one of these twice, but I'm doing it. Tony, I think you can spice this up a little bit without being super big. Do you understand what I'm saying? I need to see you spice it up a little bit. That can be more colors to that. Historically, what the characters say about each other is that they've been working together for a long time, and now she's about to get up out of this thing. And you, as a character, is about to lose a big size of money if this person is about to go and do the same thing that you've been doing, on top of the fact that they were bringing in good money for you. And that hurt of losing something that hurt of losing something that's money that you felt like you bought along, and you were using and misusing, but you bought along, and then they're about to do that to you. What does that feel like? And how do you find the comedy in that truth?
Okay.
You know, sometimes comedy is not about the funny, it's about the hurt.
Yeah.
You know, and if you can find that place, then it changes everything. You need a second?
Just a second.
Okay, you let us know.
Okay. Because I feel like I feel like I know this person because this is me.
Yeah. So
and I've been in this before.
Right, and I know this, which is why I gave you this scene.
I know.
So now what I'm challenging you to do is to tell the truth, Tony.
Okay.
What would you like in that scene? When that happened to you, what were you like?
Right. I'm also trying not to change these people's words because, like,
I know that. Don't change the words, but speak your truth
Right.
within the words.
Okay. All right.
All right. You let us know when you're ready.
Ruby, I do not water down my drinks.
Okay. And you don't color your hair either. Good one, girl.
Oh, now how would you know what's good? Oh, second-rate idiot.
Oh, no. You leave Pork Chop out of this. You are always coming after Miss Pork Chop. You want to come for me. Come for me.
Oh, now you're the one who's always coming for me and my club. And after I gave you your start.
Well, unless you are my Aunt Charmaine, who let me parade around in her house coats my mama was working, you did not give me my start.
What? Oh, so you think just because you save up a little coin for your own place, you can just trash my club?
Oh, I don't have to trash your club, Tony. Look around. Your club's doing a good job of being trash all on its own. Busting my ass, driving all over this country in a rundown 1992 Ford Econoline, playing every low-rent, old takeout, food-smelling, no hot water having drag club just like yours.
Oh, no, I got hot water.
And a pot belly.
Yes. Love that reaction at the end. Yes. Yeah, don't make me snatch you up, boo. Don't make me snatch you up. Thank you, Tony. Thank you very much. All right. Last but not least, Kenneth Mosley.
Hello, hello.
Hey, Kenneth, how are you?
Doing well. How are you? Hey, Lacey.
Good.
Hey, boo.
Take a minute to pin you here.
Y'all gonna have to teach me about that pen thing. We're gonna talk about that. Do y'all know each other?
We do, yeah.
We do.
Oh, I love that. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Kenneth?
Yes.
I'm gonna be honest with you right now. I gave you the toughest scene.
Okay.
And we will find out as you get into it, okay?
All right.
All right. You let us know when you're ready, sir.
Yeah. Lisa, you good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. $15. Take it or leave it.
That's a 5.5 carat, which I paid $45,000 for.
And this is a 24/7 pawn shop. Don't like it? Go to eBay.
30.
16.
28.
17.
21, or I write a Yelp review that says you sell illegally acquired electronics. I'm quite a good writer.
21 it is.
Thank you. Okay. What show is this?
This is How to Get Away with Murder.
Did you watch the show at all?
I did. I remember this episode. It was a really great episode.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? I was pretty great in it.
It was. The man who played the pawn shop clerk was amazing. He was handsome and charismatic.
Let me say that you completely hit that thing in the right way. But now I need y'all to do this at How to Get Away with Space. Thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That thing is important. And that when I sent you all things saying to prep for the audition, I really wanted you all to go and look and find out what that thing is, because that's the next thing I'm going to talk about when we finish this portion. But yeah, that character didn't have to be that age. That was lovely, brother. Let me have that again.
Thank you.
Take a deep breath though before you go. Go ahead.
I will. One thing I worry about as we enter into virtual auditioning, which is one of the reasons why I emailed you, is that I fear for things like a Shonda Pace, right?
Yeah.
Is that there's this delay in technology. So I'm trying to not jump on her, but trying to make it seem like we are on each other's heels. So I'm just gonna do even tighter if I can.
So it's not even about jumping on her as fast. It's about how you say your line. It's the pace of your line.
Okay.
Once you say the pace of your line, then that space will take care of itself. And because we haven't gotten to the place yet, which I'm sure we will get to the place, where we're going in with the casting director on camera right now like this. Most of it's self-taping. So when you're self-taping, it'll be different anyway. And by the way, everybody, I'm teaching a safe self-taping class this time next week.
Great.
Self-taping. And we'll talk about that very same thing,
Sweet.
Mr. Mosley. Okay, so great. Let's do the scene one more again.
All right.
Very nice. I like where you're sitting though in him. I like that.
Thank you.
I like that thing, and we'll talk about more. I'll explain to you my process when we finish.
Okay, sounds good. Lisa, you good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. 15, take it or leave it.
That's a 5.5 carat, which I paid $45,000 for.
And this is a 24/7 pawn shop. Don't like it? Go on eBay.
30.
16.
28.
17.
21, or I write a Yelp review that says you sell illegally acquired electronics. I'm quite a good writer.
21 it is.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Everybody can pull their faces back up, please. When I did that audition for How to Get Away with Murder, one of the things that was really cool about it for me was one of the things I implore you all to do when you get an audition, if the show is already up, go and find out what the flavor of the show is. Don't go in and try to recreate that flavor. You got to go in and figure out what that flavor is and then work from that flavor of what they're doing. That's what you build on. You don't try to build on anything else. You come in there with the pace off or anything like that, it throws the whole thing down. So you got to come in with that flavor that the show is particularly doing. Yeah? If you're creating something new, if it's a new piece, then I recommend you look up the writers. See what else they've done. See if you can find something that they've done, then you will understand the style. For most writers, they're just like actors. You know how we get pinpointed into something? Most writers get pinpointed into something too. Most are writing comedies. Then those are the ones who write the dramas. So you can look and find out what other works they've done, and you can have a good feeling about what kind of pace you need to give in the room. That's the kind of stuff you have to do that's technique, opposed to just being an actor, understanding the tape. When I did How to Get Away with Murder, I looked up the show. Well, I didn't have to look it up. I was an avid fan to the very end. And I had been dying to get in that room. I should tell you all that I hustled for about 3 years to get in the room with Linda Lowy. Luckily for me, my husband worked on Scandal. And so, so whenever there were parties, I would go to every party. I would hustle because I would put myself in the room. If you can get yourself in the room where it's happening or in the room where people are doing stuff, you put yourself in the room and try to be your best self in that room, because I use that to keep pushing myself in. And I also am not one of those actors who's afraid to write letters. I will write a letter sometimes to get me into a room. That's how I got to audition for Desperate Housewives. And though I never booked it, that casting director brought me into the very end of the show to be seen. I kept going into audition, but because I wrote him a letter, being audacious. But that's a whole nother story. So I took that audition. I got the sides for that. I looked up more information about the show. I went to a pawn shop so I could just walk in and smell what it smelled like. My pawn shop smelled like dried up bagels because I'd been eating food up in there and hadn't been cleaning up right. And then I thought about things about the character's life, what is his home life like? What is his environment like? What kind of friends he have? I thought about all those things so that when I went into the room and I let all that go, I was already wearing that character on my thing. I was wearing that character so much that when he said, when I finished the audition and he said, "Thank you," he said, "Oh, you really know this guy, don't you?" I said, "Yeah, I know him. I know him very much." He goes, "Yeah." And I knew then that I was going to get that job, because I was already wearing the character. And that goes back to the you in auditions, because if you can put that character on, if you can breathe in that character's skin, because he's a part of you already, and you're just reaching for that. And that's what I loved about what you did, Ken. I could see that. I could see that smarmy, thing. So that was really nice to see. So what I recommend for you guys is to literally go and do the research before each audition. Sometimes you have, I gave you guys 2 days. Sometimes you get a script the day of. Sometimes you get sides the day before, the night before. You have to do your due diligence. Sometimes that means you may be sleepy, but you got to stay up and do the work so that you can put the skin on the character on you, you know, from inside out opposed to outside in. You understand what I'm saying? Because that is the key I have found, and the magic to pushing the character through and not having to do so much in the room. The least you do, the less you do, the less you do, the better you are. Okay, y'all, ooh. Okay, I'm gonna end this and let's get to some questions, y'all, because I only got these 9 minutes. I'm so sorry. I could go on for days with this class. I honestly can, because I have so much I want to say to you. But in this way, we got 9 minutes. Please write your questions in chat, and Gigi will hit me up with the questions and we'll answer. And also put your name so I know who I'm talking to.
Yes. Well, this has just been fascinating to watch. I have learned so much. I hope everybody else has been able to get as many takeaways as I have. This is just it's just so incredible of you to share your knowledge with all of us. So let me look at the chat here. Let's see. Hi, Jacqueline Levy. I got a lot of hellos, a lot of happy messages. Julie Carmen, do you love self-tape auditions? I don't know if that's a comment to what she was watching or if that's a question.
Do I love what? Self-tape auditions. Oh, Julie, got it. Julie Carmen. Yes, I got you, girl. I got you, Julie. Do I love self-tape auditions? No, I don't. It's a lot of work that's being put on the actors to do, but I am beginning to find the magic and the sweet spot of it now. In fact, Julie, I'm teaching a self-tape class next week. At least I'm going to talk about the fundamentals that I've learned that works for me. I've had a couple of bookings on self-tape. An interesting one I shot right before, well, not right before the pandemic. It was literally last year going into the fall. I shot a new series for Amazon called The Underground Railroad with the director, Barry Jenkins, the Oscar-winning director, Barry Jenkins, which was really, really cool. And I did that on a self-tape. And I auditioned for him twice, 2 different characters. I sent self-tapes in and I was like, I don't get it, because these auditions are fierce. I mean, I was like, yeah, that works for me. But here's the thing, and this is why I love Barry Jenkins. Barry Jenkins saw me. So what he ended up doing was offering me a role. I didn't have to audition again. I got it straight to offer for a different character than the other 2 characters. And it was a very small written role. I got to set in Georgia, and we went to work, and he blew my character up a little bit more and made it a bigger scene for me. So self-tapings can do that thing. You just got to be real and honest in that self-taping. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep that honesty of who you are in it. Because while I was looking at myself for a slave role, he saw me for a rich man's role. How about that?
How about that? That's as well, look at you. You're
How
gorgeous.
Okay.
So, what are your thoughts on holding scripts in Zoom auditions and self-tapes? Cindy Yoon says, any advice on memorizing lines? Two.
Okay, Kelly, I recommend always, now if you're doing self-tape, no sides. Self-tape, no sides. They want you to be off book for self-tapes. If you're doing a Zoom audition and you're reading with the casting director, sides. So you treat that as if you're in the room. I let you go with this one because you killed that thing, Kelly. Oh, Laura Kelly. I'm a fan, Laura Kelly. I am. I'm a fan. I got you nervous on that second go, though, but I'm a fan. Yeah, I know. I saw you. But that's the thing. I saw you, and that's the magic. And the other question,
Any advice on memorizing lines?
Oh God, I can't give you any advice on that one because I'm dyslexic. For me, I have to run it over and over again. Because not only do I have to learn the lines, I have to then recorrect the lines in my mind, because what my brain does is it switches the words around. And so but here's the thing. Here's what I recommend. If your phone has a recording device on it, I would record the other character's lines, silent on your lines, the other character's lines, silent on your lines, and then use that to over and over and over, go over and over again. That works for me, so I can get it wrote inside my skin. And that's what I usually do. I record, and then I do that thing. Or I force my poor husband to struggle through it with me.
That's their job. That's what they're there for.
Listen, come through. I'm like, come on, babe, I need your help. I know it's midnight, let's go.
Stephanie Urko has a question. Can you clarify the difference between network and cable? She's assuming network is considered ABC, NBC, but she wants to be sure. These days, there's so many platforms.
Right, there's so many platforms. Stephanie, you're right. The network is the ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, I'm missing a few, but the ones we locked on our local TV. Cable is everything outside of that. But Disney is also almost considered network, believe it or not, and so is Nickelodeon. Yeah, but then you also, folks have to remember there's not only that, but then you're looking at single camera comedy, and you're looking at multicam comedy, which are two different things. And as I said earlier, single cam is more simple. It's more like film, and what you do with the inflections of the words and the tricks you play within the words, single cam. And multicam is a broad-based, fun, free for all, big but not too big, but just big enough to be bright enough to pop. Next question.
Great. I'm so old, my eyes. Ariana Calderon asked, during the period when you first moved to LA and weren't getting work, did you make your own work?
Ariana, I wish I had. I failed in that department because my self-esteem was low. And I had that big, bright moment, and then all of a sudden it was nothing, and I didn't know what to do with it. What I should have done at that time was create, but I didn't. So I went off and taught aerobics. If you can create, if your mind has some ideas that you want to do, don't wait for somebody to do it. I used to ask a friend of mine to write me a one-man show. He refused me. He said, I'm not writing nothing for you. When you're ready, you write your own. It wasn't until I was working on Lion King that I got to write my show, that I actually focused and wrote the show. My girl Sherry, I see you, Sherry Washington Rome, my sister from Lion King. She was one of my girls in both productions of my show. Sherry is the killer actress. She's fierce. That's my girl. Sherry did my one-man show with me. So yeah, I wish I had. If you have something in mind, Ariana, do it. Don't wait for nobody to give you nothing. Nothing. Don't wait for nobody to give you nothing. We are creative beings. Create.
Amen to that. That's for sure. If you don't know, TJ Dawson, our incredibly wonderful artistic and executive director, TJ, 3D Theatricals wouldn't happen without him making it for himself. If I know that maybe if we have some reruns, or if you've noticed any of our sessions with him in 3D+U, his story is quite fascinating. So he made it happen. And yes, for anything, we have to go after it ourselves. Okay, we'll take one last question. Tawny, to everybody, should we typically make eye contact with the camera when speaking, or is it better to speak lines to an imaginary person in self-tape auditions?
In self-tape audition, you need to have a reader there with you, Tawny. Okay. Somebody who's going to be reading those sides with you. Now, I've had situations, Tawny, where I had my best girlfriend. She was in another state, and I had my computer set up, and I set my computer on the other side, and I did my lines towards the computer. But you need somebody to be reading towards. in self-tape, not to the camera, towards the person.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So in self-tape, it's never towards the camera. They don't want you to see you looking in that camera at all, but just slightly off of it. But now here's the catch. What if you got two characters, Tawny? Two characters you're talking to. You have to build that too. So if y'all are interested in knowing about that stuff, see me next week, this time, in my self-taping class. And let me say one more thing, because I know we're out of time. Let me say one more thing. I want to say one more thing, because this is important, about TJ Dawson. Yeah, I'm about to praise you now. Yes, sir. I know you ain't ready for that. So TJ and I met in an audition situation. We were auditioning, and he walked in. First of all, I heard him kill it in the room, but he walked in with so much humility and love and himself as he was. How much were you weighing then, TJ? Can you turn on your thing?
I don't know.
How much were you weighing then, TJ?
Oh, there he is.
How much were you weighing then?
Oh, I was 130 pounds heavier than I am now.
Yes, that's all I need. That's all I need. That's all I need. And he came in with all of that energy, and none of it's negative. All of it was positive. His heart was on his sleeve, and I thought, I like him. I like him a lot, because I could see exactly who he was. So when he called and asked me if I would come and do his show, I was like, when I got that audition, I rushed to that audition, because I wanted to be in the room with this young man who was creating and making theater for other people and not just for himself. And that's why I love you, TJ. And that's why I said yes to this. And that's why I do almost anything for you, because you are truly my brother.
Man, why are you making me cry?
Because I
Damn
love
it.
you. I love you.
I love you with all of my heart. And I truly, like, this has been the most incredible class. I know how nervous you were, and get out. You killed. Like, this is truly, I was sidebarring with someone in the chat where I was just like, best class. I've never felt more inspired. Like, I wish I were acting still so that I could go and apply all these things. But being on the other side of the table, I was just like, amen, amen, amen. Like, everything you're saying is exactly, you're speaking so much incredible truth. I cannot wait for next week. And again, a huge thank you to all of the people, to our gorgeous, amazing reader.
Thank you.
Yeah, all the people who, oh yeah, please go ahead.
Lisi, I need to say this to you. You killed every scene. I have to talk to you. Like, I have to talk to you. I got conversation for you. I'm a little mad. We got to do something. I got to check your representation. Something ain't right. Something ain't right, baby girl. We having a serious conversation, because you killed every friggin' scene, and I wanted to wring your neck. That was all the stuff that we worked on in the past.
I was working with some beautiful talent.
They were beautiful, but you killed every scene, and we're gonna have a talk. You and I, we gotta talk.
But literally though, I cannot second that enough. And all of you guys, every single person that did this, thank you to all of you. And thanks to everyone who tuned in. Please spread the word. Everyone will want to be back here next week for his incredible self-tape class. That is the new world we are moving into. So it could not be more valuable information. So a huge virtual round of applause for one of the most incredible people on this planet, Harrison. I love you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gigi. Thanks so much for moderating.
Thank you, Gigi. I appreciate you so much.
It was my great pleasure.
Hey, can you come back and do it again with me, Gigi, next week?
I'm your girl.
Yes!
I'm your girl.
Fantastic. Thanks.
Thanks again, Lisa.
Thank you, guys. I love you all. Thank you so much. See you later.
Bye, everybody.
Be safe, be healthy. We'll see you next week.
Yes, please.
Wear your masks. We want to go back to work.
Yes, we do.